shit knock and roll.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. We are no longer the Hoop Life TV podcast. This is our third time changing our name. We are now the CrownHoops Podcast. A lot of things happened, so we kind of had to change our name. But we're sticking with this for now, and it won't change ever again. But yeah, as always, my name is Jordan Daly. With me, as always, I have Mike White, Stacey Collier, and Ben Okazawa. Say what's up, guys.
What's going on, everybody?
It's good.
All right, we are on to episode number 24 now. This is our first episode since the NBA season has started, where some teams are 4 games, some teams are 5 games in, but we have a little bit of a feel of how the teams are going to look this season. Some are better than we thought, some are horrible compared to what we thought we were going to see. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to talk about that with you guys. It's been a while, and I know a lot of teams aren't meeting our expectations, and some are kind of surprising us. But before we get into that, I figured we should talk about our teams. So obviously, I have the Lakers for Stacey and Mike. We have the Celtics for me, and we have the Raptors for Ben. All of our teams are doing pretty well so far. No complaints there. But let's kind of break it down a little bit. We'll start talking about the Lakers to start the episode off. Mike, I already see you got your Lakers hat on. You're ready to go.
I'm ready.
Tell me about it. Your Lakers are 3-1 right now. How are you feeling about the season so far? Tell me a little bit about it.
So far, we've come out pretty good. There's a lot of things I would like to see us improve upon. But honestly, looking at the team, I like what we're doing with AD and LeBron. Is getting better with each game. Obviously, going back to opening night, it didn't go as expected. But, I mean, the Clippers are a great team, and LeBron and AD were still kind of figuring out. But as we see, as each game keeps going on, the chemistry is continuing to grow. AD just had a 40-point and 20-rebound night last night. So, I mean, obviously the chemistry's there. I like the size. I like the way Danny Green's playing. I like what we have on the perimeter. We'll be a lot better when we get some more scoring back in Kuzma and things of that nature. But, hey, I can say right now I'm feeling pretty good pretty early.
And on AD's night last night where he had 40 points and 20 rebounds, I think he also broke a franchise record for most free throws in a game too, right?
Oh, yeah, he was like 26 of 27 or 25 of 26. That's crazy for a big man. To shoot that well from the line, someone you can rely upon, who's almost unguardable at that size. I'm starting to give AD more of respect for the type of player he is and the problems he creates defensively. Like, he was killing the Grizzlies last night.
So one of my questions for you is, one of my concerns for the Lakers going into the season was chemistry. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of turnover, a lot of changes, a lot of new faces on their team, a lot of guys that could be starters in other NBA teams, but they're not there. How do you think chemistry-wise the Lakers are looking?
I don't really see any issues chemistry-wise. If the Lakers came out, even from the first night, they flowed pretty well. And like I said, it's grown each game. I mean, the roles seem pretty defined there. The only player I can say is playing bad for the Lakers or doesn't seem to fit is KCP, who can't seem to hit a shot. Not one or two, a shot, So other than that, man, I mean, this team's the roles are pretty defined. AD is the workhorse. LeBron is in charge, but, second on the court. And then everybody else fits their roles. They're shooters. No one's playing. I like what I've seen from Dwight Howard. He's been playing great off the bench. No problems there. I don't think chemistry is going to be an issue at all.
Is there anything going down the road that you could see could possibly affect this team, or are you feeling real good about the rest of the season?
Injuries, and that's just what it's going to be for the Lakers, the type of team it is. We talk about how great of a night Anthony Davis had last night, but he also went out for a shoulder injury for a small time in that game. Ended up coming back and toughing it out, which I like, but we know he's a guy who gets nagging injuries and likes to sit out, but he seems pretty adamant about playing the most games that he can, going out there, giving it all. So I would just say injuries just because we have a slightly older team in areas, but other than that, probably need a wing and another guard, but we're good.
All right, and Stacey, I'm going to flip the script to you as our other resident Laker fan / LeBron James bandwagon fan. Got to give it to you. I'm sorry. How you feeling about LeBron this season? His age is getting up there. Do you think the age is starting to affect him, or do you think with AD now it's going to kind of take a little bit of a load off of his shoulders? How are you feeling with that whole situation?
Well, of course, no matter how good you are, nobody's going to beat time. Time is going to win every single time. But the LeBron's playing the way that I expected him to play this season. I expected him to take a step back and give AD the the ball, make AD that number one option. And also LeBron, I expected him to average a double-double as far as points and assists, and he's very close to that. This is the right move for the Lakers going forward. AD has to be that guy. LeBron just has to be the leader. He just has to, just put up his 20 points, facilitate, and the Lakers can go for there. And also, I'm interested in seeing how Kyle Kuzma is going to fit in this whole equation. He hasn't played yet. He looks like he's getting ready to play this Friday. Yep. So they got to implement him in, and I'm expecting him to be a scorer as well. So this is a good thing for LeBron. This is a good thing. This is what he needs as he's going to year 17 in his career.
Yeah, and I completely forgot about Kuzma coming back. I kind of completely just forgot that he wasn't even playing. He's on my fantasy team. That's something I should know. But, yeah, how do you think that's going to affect kind of the roles that everyone's kind of gotten themselves into, in the 4 games they played so far?
They got to see where Kuzma is going to play. Is he going to be at the 3? Is he going to be at the 4? And wherever he plays, then there's going to be a shift in the lineups and everything. So it's going to be another adjustment period for the Lakers. But, they look good so far, and I'm pretty sure they're going to figure it out with Kyle Kuzma.
Okay. And for both of you, we'll start with you, Mike. What are your predictions for the Lakers this season? Where are they finishing?
Barring really any injuries, significant injuries, I see them finishing somewhere around the 3rd or the 4th seed. Ceiling probably the 2nd. I wouldn't say 1st. And like I said, it's championship time, finals.
Okay. Yeah, and with seeding, you brought up 3rd or 4th seed. In my opinion anymore, no one really cares what their seed is. Load management is a thing now. We saw it with Kawhi tonight. Kawhi's not playing in the Clippers game. Load management is a thing. The star players aren't trying to play every single game. Obviously, you mentioned a little bit ago, AD does want to play as much as he can, but not all stars are like that. Some stars want to break. So seeding necessarily isn't a big deal anymore. It's not like, if you're the 1st seed, you're the best team. It's not always the case anymore. But Stacey, how are you feeling about the Lakers? Where do you think they're going to go this year? And what's your ceiling for them?
I predicted that they was going to finish as the 2nd seed. I think that's going to be their highest seed. I think they could finish 3rd as well, but I'm looking for that 2nd seed. I got the Clippers at number 1. The reason why I got the Lakers at 2, though, is because I expect them to, take a break at some point at the season. Load management, that is a worry of mine as well, echoing Mike's sentiments. Injuries is a problem. Like AD gets nagging injuries. Kyle Kuzma's working his way back from an injury. LeBron, even though he's healthy right now, he is in year 17. He has a lot of mileage on his body, so it could be a pull here, a pull there. Dwight Howard has dealt with back injuries. Rondo is injured, et cetera, et cetera. So that does worry me about the Lakers, but I think they'll finish 2nd, 3rd being the lowest. I think seeding does matter in a way that you want that home court advantage in the playoffs, at least in the 1st round. So I think the Lakers need to shore that up so they can stay in LA. But they're gonna be fine throughout the season.
Okay, Ben, I know you're not a Lakers fan, but to keep things not so biased, where do you see the Lakers finishing?
At the end of the regular season?
Yep, and then where do you see them going into the playoffs?
Okay, so regular season, I agree with these guys. I think their absolute basement is the 4th seed in the regular season. And then their ceiling, probably the 2 seed beneath the Clippers. Whoa. Clippers.
I like that name.
But, and then as far as the postseason, I can't see them getting past the Clippers in the conference finals, but it'll be tough. And that does all depend on seeding, because I think wherever they do run into the Clippers, they're going to lose. I think it'll be tough. It'll be a 6 or 7 game series for sure. But I think at the end of the day, and obviously this all depends on health. You never know when AD could get injured. LeBron's getting older; he could get injured. But whenever the Lakers run into the Clippers, and it depends on seeding, because if they're the 1-2 seed, then that'll be the conference finals. They're going to lose in a tough, hard-fought series.
Stacey, did you say where you thought they would go into the playoffs? I know you said they're seeding, but
no. Where I think
putting you on the spot.
Yeah, as a LeBron supporter, I want LeBron to get that ring with the Lakers, but them getting past the Clippers is a tall task, whenever they run into them in the playoffs. I think they'll at the very least, make it to the conference finals. But as a fan of LeBron, as a supporter of the Lakers, I want them to go to the NBA finals. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeding wise, I'm with Mike. I would say around the 3 or 4 seed. I think there will be load management. A lot of those guys on the Lakers are veterans. They are aging, so I do see a lot of load management. I don't think they're going to try to shoot for the 1 or 2 seed. I really don't think it matters to them. When you have LeBron in the playoffs, you could be the 8 seed, and you're probably still going to get pretty far. As for their ceiling, I'm with Ben on this one. It depends on the seeding, but wherever they play the Clippers, I think is probably their limit. Unless if somehow the Clippers get eliminated, crazier things have happened. I don't know. I just don't see the Lakers getting past the Clippers in a 7-game series. Yeah, I don't know. Kawhi and Paul George together. We haven't seen it yet, but I just feel like that's going to be unstoppable. And for that, I kind of give the Clippers the edge on that. But any other comments on the Lakers?
We'll see.
Pretty much how you got to say it.
That's it.
All right, so next up we have Ben's team. We got the Toronto Raptors, the reigning champions. You know, not going to lie, looking into this season, I was not too high on them. You know, losing Kawhi, I was like, okay, that's really going to hurt them. They made me eat my words real quick. They're already starting the season 4-1. Pascal Siakam's kind of leading the charge for them. Ben, I'll kind of let you take over. Tell me about how your Raptors are doing so far, what you like, what you don't like, what you're a little worried about.
Well, to be completely fair, yes, we're 4-1. Our 4 wins have come against not incredible teams. Beat the Pelicans, beat the Bulls, beat the Magic, who are okay, and we beat the Pistons. So we beat some mediocre teams, and we beat some bad teams. We did lose to your Celtics.
Damn right.
But no, honestly, I don't have any misconceptions. I don't have any fantasies about where my team's going this season. I'm not expecting any sort of repeat championship run. I think second round of the playoffs is our ceiling because whenever we run into the Bucks or the Sixers, that's it.
Or the Celtics?
I just don't think. I just don't think. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
I mean, maybe if we play you guys in the first round, it'll be a tough series. You guys might win. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have no misconceptions about the strength of my team this year.
Okay, that's fair.
But some things I want to point out, though. Pascal Siakam averaging 28 points on 51% shooting from the field. But this is the biggest stat right here. 44.4% from deep. He's knocking them down at an unreal clip, and that's on 5.5 attempts per game.
It's true.
So it's not like he's not taking a lot. He's taking them. He was 5 for 7 against the Celtics, 3 for 6 tonight against the Pistons. You know, he's hitting them. He's averaging 9.2 boards, 4 assists per game. And then another guy who's taken a bit of a leap, Fred VanVleet, 18 points per game. You saw him put up 34 against the Pelicans on 12 for 8 shooting, 5 for 7 from deep. He's shooting 41% from three-point range, 6 assists, 1.5 steals. And then here's the thing. Kyle Lowry in the past has had to sacrifice, like last year especially, had to sacrifice his scoring for Kawhi Leonard. He was doing a lot of the intangible stuff. He had 8.7 assists and just like a lot of defense, a lot of leadership things. He only averaged 14 points. This year so far, 21.6 points. You know, respectable, 36% from deep, 7 assists. He's having a good season, strong season. And then just one more guy that's kind of stepped up a little bit for us. OG Anunoby, who was kind of silent last season. He had a good rookie season, kind of silent last season. 12.2 points on 54% shooting, 44% from deep also, and 7 rebounds, 2.2 blocks. He's having a good season. So, you know, I love watching my team, but it's not, like I said, I don't have any misconceptions. I'm not expecting us to do big things this year. But we're going to be strong for sure. One of those stronger Eastern Conference teams.
Yeah, and that's a fair assumption. I mean, Pascal Siakam, when you have a guy like that who's a bigger guy and can hit the 3 at a consistent rate, like you were saying, like that's a huge weapon to have. There's not many guys in the league that can do that at that good of a rate. So if he can keep that up, he's definitely going to be a massive threat. And he does have a good supporting cast, like you mentioned, Van Vliet. He's a great player. I feel like he's one of the more underrated players in the NBA. I have him on my fantasy team. I picked him up as soon as I saw he was a free agent. But yeah, I mean, you guys definitely have a good team, and definitely made me eat my words on that. So I'll admit that I was wrong there. But Stacey, what are your thoughts on the Raptors so far this season, and where you see them going?
I expected the Raptors to be competitive. I didn't expect them to be a championship caliber team. I think that window is closed right now, but I expected them to be a playoff team. Pascal Siakam, I'm glad that he's taking off. He's earning his extension that he got recently. Fred VanVleet, he's becoming my top 10 favorite player in the NBA. He can ball. He just need opportunity. Once he get minutes, he's gonna provide productivity everywhere. So I'm glad for him. Kyle Lowry, even though he's aging, he's stepping up, being consistent. And OG Anunoby was the guy that I was looking at to help out the Raptors for their playoff push, and he's doing well so far. So they're doing what I projected them to do. As far as how they're gonna finish, they're gonna finish in that 6 to 8 range. And I agree with Ben. The second round seems to be their ceiling, but they're going to be competitive throughout the season. And Pascal Siakam right now is an MVP candidate in my eyes.
Okay, Mike, what about you? Anything for the Raptors? Where do you see them finishing?
I mean, they're right where I thought they'd be. I thought they'd still make the playoffs. This is still a team that, despite even though they lost Kawhi, this team still is pretty much still intact. They're the same team. They've got chemistry together. They've won a championship. They knows what it takes to get done. They got a great coach in Nick Nurse. I mean, I'm not surprised. They're a better team, even if they may not have the talent that some of the other Eastern Conference teams carry. So this team's going to be competitive. They're going to be a hard out every night. As far as where I think they're going to finish, though, probably maybe a first-round win, depending on how well their seeding is. But I think at most a second-round loss will be where they'll finish at. If they get any higher, it'll be amazing. But I think they'll lose to one of the top teams, Philly or the Bucks or someone like that. Will probably knock them out.
Yeah, I would agree. First round win, maybe second round loss. Somewhere around there is probably their ceiling. Do you see them making any trades this year, Ben? Is there any kind of person you'd like to see brought onto the team, position player, or someone you see on the Raptors that may be traded away?
We have wings and no short supply, so I don't think we need anyone there. But maybe a big. Marc Gasol hasn't been having the greatest season. He's getting older. He's on a big contract, and we're not really in the position where it might be time for a rebuild. You know what I mean? Because it's not like we're bad, but it's not like we're kind of just in the middle right now.
Retool, not rebuild. Retool.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah,
Don't blow it up.
Yeah.
I've seen reports that the Raptors might want to trade Kyle Lowry. It's all just speculation. I hope it doesn't happen. Not for any logical reasons, just for emotional reasons, because he's been here for a long time. He's one of the top 3 players to ever play for our franchise, I believe. So I hope they don't trade him, but it is looking like I'm sure Masai will make some moves, as he always does. We've got Stanley Johnson and Rondé Hollis-Jefferson coming off the bench, and neither of them are – Nick Nurse isn't really high on either of them. Neither of them are really getting all that much playing time. He publicly kind of called Stanley Johnson especially lazy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's I could definitely see us trading either one of those guys or Marc Gasol at the deadline for a big.
Anyone in particular that you have in mind that you'd like to see come or you think would fit well with the team?
That I want to see. Maybe like a Chris Middleton or someone like that, but I don't want. At this point, I just want us to save money for Giannis in 2021. That's all.
No,
You think it's happening?
Oh man.
I'm not
Nah.
I'm not expecting it to happen, but I have seen some whispers that the Raptors would be on his short list if he were to leave Milwaukee. Whether there's any validity to that, I have no clue. But
I mean, I can speak personally. I was just watching the Celtics-Bucks game. He and his coach were in a screaming match at some points during the game.
Yeah.
So I definitely, like, if you asked me 2 months ago if Giannis would ever leave Milwaukee, I would have said, hell no. He's staying in Milwaukee. I also said the same thing about Kyrie in Boston. I said the same thing about Kemba in Charlotte. So I'm like 0 for 3 at this point. May as well go 0 for 4.
It's the 2K curse. It's the 2K curse.
Right?
He's gone.
Same with Madden, too. I literally did an essay on that in college.
That's so
side
funny.
note fact. But, yeah, it's like, I don't know. It would be so interesting to see Giannis leave because wherever he goes is an instant contender.
Yeah.
Instant contender. And you surround him with guys like Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry if he's still there. That's a good team.
It would be a championship contender because he essentially is replacing Kawhi. He's not the defender that Kawhi is. He's not the shooter that Kawhi is, but he's equally dominant, I would say.
So I would agree. I would say that, Kawhi is better defender and playmaker and all that, but the thing that Giannis has that I don't think any player in the NBA has is this his dominance in the paint.
Exactly.
He can literally just bully himself in, body people. Like, it's just insane how he does things. Yeah. And in my eyes, he's probably the most dominant player in the NBA. I'm not saying he's the best player. I'm not saying he's the most skilled player. Just the most dominant. Mike, you're giving me a look like I'm absolutely crazy.
Oh, nah, you good. Do your thing.
Okay. No, that's just, I don't know. I just think he's a dominant guy, but I don't know. But moving on from the Raptors, we have my team, the Celtics. We're also 3-1. So all of our teams only have 1 loss. So round of applause. That's a good start for all of us.
Yeah, we're all looking good.
We're all looking good. So we started the season 0-1. We lost to Philly. That was a heartbreaker because Philly is one of our biggest rivals. We have a lot of rivals. No one really likes us. So, so yeah, that definitely hurt, especially going against like old teammate Al Horford. But since then, we were on the 3-game hot streak. And let me tell you guys, we are looking good. Like, I've tried to watch as many games as possible. Work has been killing me. But I have watched the past 2 games, and I have loved every single thing I've seen. It reminds me of the Celtics 2 years ago when Kyrie Irving went out with the injury and Terry Rozier kind of took over as the point guard. Just the ball movement's been on point. They look very happy. There's no sitting on the bench anymore. Everyone's standing. Everyone's jumping up with excitement. It's just fun again. And that's something, if you go on NBA Twitter and you follow a lot of Celtics people, you'll see a lot of people say, oh, basketball in Boston is fun again. And then a lot of people may not know what that means, but it's just like, you guys hear me rag on Kyrie all the time. And a lot of it's just for jokes. But like, Kyrie kind of sucked the soul out of the Celtics in a way that he kind of just made it not very fun to watch. It was a lot of drama surrounding him. But with this current Celtics team, there's not really any of that. All the guys seem to love each other. The ball moves pretty freely. And it's just everyone's kind of getting a piece of the pie. Like, if you look at their current stats, 4 out of the 5 starting players are averaging over 17 points. So we have Jaylen Brown at 17.3, Gordon Hayward with 17.5. And I'm not even going to get started on him right now. Jason Tatum at 21.5, and Kemba Walker is cooking with 24.5. He just dropped 32 tonight against the Bucks, I think. But like, it's just everyone on the team is looking really, really well. And our other starter, kind of a rotation starter, comes in and out, Marcus Smart, only 11.3, but he's kind of one of those guys in the NBA where stats don't really matter for him. He finds other ways to get involved with the game, more on defense. There was a play today against the Bucks where Giannis tried driving in on him, and he just kind of grabbed the ball until it was a jump ball. It was really funny if you haven't seen it. But just like everyone on the Celtics is doing really, really well. Gordon Hayward is showing signs of his Utah self, and that was kind of the big factor going into the season is if Hayward can perform like his old self, which reports in the offseason were saying that he was looking like that again. If he could do that, the Celtics have a chance. And the way he's coming out, he's being aggressive. He's driving to the hoop again, and that's something we haven't seen since the injury. It was kind of all of a mental thing. Now he's being very aggressive. He's shooting the ball at 48.1%, and from behind the arc, it's 58.3%. He's just been tremendous, absolutely tremendous. 7.3 rebounds and 3.5 assists as well. So I'm a big fan of Hayward this year. Jaylen Brown secured the bag. I was very questionable with the 4-year, was it 80 million, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was a big contract.
Mm-hmm.
I was very questionable about that at first, but he's come out and proved his worth. I mean, I can't lie. He's shooting at 50% from the field. 3 points, pretty bad at 28.6, but that's something we can improve on. It's only been 5 games. Tatum is looking like an all-star. Oh,
let's go.
That's all I need to say. Tatum is killing it. He's putting down dunks. He's bodying guys. He's shooting in from 3. He's kind of doing a little bit of everything. And Kemba, I'm in love with Cardiac Kemba. He is the happy medium between Kyrie and IT, and that is exactly what this team needs. And then the rookies. Grant Williams, I am sorry. Ben called me out on it on Twitter the other night.
Yeah, you deserve it.
Ben called me out on Twitter the other night. We live streamed the draft. I think, Stacey, you were there for part of it. We live streamed the draft. Nasir Little was still on the board, and I was really high on Nasir Little. I really wanted Nasir Little. Celtics took a guy named Grant Williams. I had no idea who this guy was. So I lost my cool. I went nuts. I was pissed. And I just kind of kept saying, Grant Williams. Like, who is this guy?
For the next half hour, we would be talking about something else. It was like 8 picks after the Celtics pick.
Yeah.
Grant?
I was not happy at all.
Okay.
But no, he's killing it. He's making great plays on defense, blocking shots, taking it to the rack. He's definitely a guy that I see growing with the Celtics. He was a 6th man tonight. He was the first guy off the bench, which as a rookie in the Celtics system, that's pretty impressive. Other guys, Carson Edwards hasn't got too many minutes since the NBA season started. But in Summer League, he kind of showed out. So that was impressive. And then Taco Fall. Austin loves Taco Fall. Noticing a trend already. It's like the last 2 minutes of the game. Everyone on Twitter is like, it's Taco time. It's Taco time.
Wow.
Everyone wants to see Taco. But no, from like he got into the game for about a minute or two a couple nights ago. And he looked really good. He dunked without jumping. Made a couple defensive plays, got some rebounds. If he can work on building that frame up, he's kind of skinny. I think he could be a legit threat. I mean, he could be a better Boban. It's probably a ceiling. But that's not bad to have on your roster, I feel like. But okay, I'll pass it off. I kind of ranted. Mike, what are your thoughts on the Celtics this year?
I mean, they've looked good out the gate. I have my concerns about rebounding. Their leading rebounder is Jason Tatum at 9. So that kind of bothers me a little bit. Not so much that I don't think they can win games in the regular season, but in the playoffs when you have teams that have an Embiid or have a Giannis Antetokounmpo who are known for getting points in the paint, it could come back to bite them on the board. So I like the Celtics. They're going to be a tough team. I had them at the 4th seed, making the 4th seed at the end of the year. Sixers, of course. Bucks, of course. And did I have them 3rd? I can't think of another team I would have above them. I gotta look at the standings. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I had them at 3rd or 4th, right around there.
Okay.
Yeah, I had them 3rd or 4th. So I mean, look, they're gonna be a good team, but I don't think they're ready to beat one of the Sixers or the Bucks. I don't think they have enough size for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Height is definitely an issue. We noticed that game 1 when we lost to the Sixers, where the Sixers are definitely one of the strongest teams when it comes to their height. They have Al Horford, Embiid. So there are a couple of rumors going around right now that the Celtics are trying to get Domantas Sabonis or Miles Turner from the Pacers. But I'm pretty sure the asking price was Jaylen Brown, so I don't know if that'll actually happen.
Oh, no.
But it would be interesting to see if we could get another big. Enes Kanter's not going to cut it. I watched him and really not a fan of what he does. He's a huge defensive liability. He can get buckets in the paint, sure, but he's a huge weakness when it comes to defense, and that's kind of what we need to stop guys like Joel Embiid or even Al Horford if we play the Sixers. We won without him tonight, so I really don't think he's a key factor on that team. So it would be interesting to see if we could get another guy. I think Robert Williams is really going to blow up this year. Robert Williams, I'm a huge fan of.
Did y'all just extend him today or something?
Yeah, we picked up his player option.
Okay, yeah.
He is blocking shots into like the 20th row. This dude is an animal. I think he will make his way into the starting lineup at the end of this year. Okay. I think it'll be Kemba, Tatum, Hayward, Brown, and Williams. I think that's going to end up being the starting 5 with Marcus Smart going in and out of there for either Hayward or Brown, something like that. But I think Williams is a huge defensive asset. And, he's putting down lobs. Like, obviously he has the nickname Time Lord, but Don't even get me started on that. I don't even know where that came from. Weird Celtics Twitter is a thing. I don't really get it.
I think it's because he has so much elevation. He just like hangs in the air.
Okay, I can get that. No, but like one thing that I notice whenever he's in the game is they always try to lob it up to him because no one can really jump up as high as he can. So I definitely think he needs to get some more minutes in with that starting 5 lineup. Daniel Tice, he's another big guy, but he doesn't really show me anything. He's a second year or third year this year. Yeah, I'm not a big fan on Tice, but I definitely agree that height's an issue. Stacey, what about you? What are your thoughts on the Celtics this year?
Right now, I'm higher on the Celtics than I originally was. At first, I had them as like the 5th seed going into the season, and then I increased their chances to the 4th seed, and I think they could get like the 3rd seed now. I think they can. I like what I'm seeing. The players that I wanted to see step up for them are stepping up. Gordon Hayward, Jason Brown, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I'm sorry, my bad. They are stepping up. Tatum's averaging 20 points. I said that he needs to average 20 points this season. He's doing that so far. Brown is playing up to his contract. Hayward is getting more aggressive now. So Kemba is going to be Kemba. I expected Kemba to ball out from day one. So things are looking right for the Celtics. I don't think they're going to get past the 76ers or the Bucks right now just because of size, like we already mentioned. Like they're going to have problems with that. I think if they can manage to trade for Miles Turner, which I think he will work well for them because he's a defensive big man, get boards and everything, then they could probably sneak out the East. They could probably sneak out the East if they make that trade. But if they just stay the same, have the same roster, then I could see them finishing behind the 76ers and the Bucks.
So, all right. So, yeah, in the final standings, I'd give the Bucks and the Sixers ahead of the Celtics. I'm fine with that. I won't really argue that. But in a series of 7, I would argue that the Celtics could take the Bucks. I mean, they do have some height, but they're not like the guys that are going to like body you into the paint. Giannis is pretty much the only guy in the Bucks that's going to do that. You know, they have Robin Lopez or whatever, Brooke Lopez. I always mix them up. They have both of them now, don't they?
Yeah, they got both of them.
Well, do they really?
Yeah, so they kind of stretch the
do,
paint. They're stretching the paint. They're hitting threes. They're not necessarily guys like Embiid. That's why I would be more afraid of a series of 7 with Philly than I would be the Bucks. Yeah. I know that the Celtics went out to the Bucks last year in the playoffs, but this year I really think Robert Williams is going to step up his game a lot. If he can make it into that starting 5 rotation, I think we're set, to be honest. I think obviously added height coming off the bench would be nice. We really don't have any Grant Williams. Could be that. I still don't think he's that tall yet. I think we need a little bit more height. So I'm definitely agreeing with you on that.
He's only like 6'5", I think.
Yeah, so I definitely think height's an issue, but not. I think we get past the Bucks with the height that we have. I don't think we can get past
One question for you.
Go for it.
You just was saying that Giannis was the most dominant player.
He is
in the league. So
yeah,
you think Robert Williams can guard him?
Marcus Smart just shut him down
in a 7-game series.
Unlike one player.
No, the whole game they had Marcus on him. They had Semi on him. Usually Jaylen Brown was going to be the guy to cover him, but he was out sick tonight.
Okay.
But I think we could shut him down. I mean, we did it 2 years ago. Last year,
shut him down. I don't know. I don't think
okay. Here's the thing. I don't want to say shut down, but I want to say contain. And we did a good job of containing him last year in the playoffs. The problem was the shooters. We contained Giannis, but everyone was hitting from 3. Yeah. Everyone. And we saw that tonight, too, in the game. Like, all the big guys were drilling threes. And then, what's his name? He's from Mass, too. I'm blanking on him. Pat Connaughton?
Oh, yeah.
He hits threes, too. He was like 2 for 3 right off the bat. I don't know what he finished as, but...
2 for 3.
Oh, okay.
Or not 2 for 3, but he finished with 6 points.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they can all hit threes. So it's like you can contain Giannis, you can slow him down, but the perimeter guys are going to shoot, and that's pretty much why we lost last year. We had no way of containing everything. I think this year I like the team a lot better. I think the chemistry is a lot better. I don't think we'd have a problem with that. Philly does scare me with their height. I will say that. If we can get someone with more height, like a Sabonis or a Miles Turner, I would feel a lot better. But I think Miles Turner went out with an injury today, right?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. He got an ankle injury, a serious one.
Yeah, so I don't think that'll happen anymore, and I doubt the Pacers will give up Sabonis now because of that.
Yep.
Ben, what are your thoughts on the Celtics this year?
The Celtics look good for sure. One thing, a few things that I've noticed. Gordon Hayward, he's on my fantasy team. He's playing very, very well.
Damn right.
Double tonight, 21 and 10, and 7 assists. That's almost a triple double. Jason Tatum, you're right. He's looking good. Marcus Smart always plays well, because that's the thing about those kinds of players. Kyle Lowry and Marcus Smart, they always bring that intangible, that hustle, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. No, I get that.
It's more about defense and hustle than it is about scoring points. So they're just consistent. Like, guys who are relying on scoring, they're not always going to be good. But those guys, Kyle Lowry, Marcus Smart, they always have something to bring to the game. So he's obviously a key piece for you guys. Kemba had 32 points tonight, 6 assists. The bench didn't do much. Semi had 3 points. They didn't get a lot of running time either.
Because we are losing 2 of our starters already, so
yeah,
kind of the bench is starting.
But one thing I do want to say that you also brought up, I think Robert Williams should for sure get more minutes. Daniel Tice, I was watching the Celtics versus Raptors game. Daniel Tice was in there for a while. We were going on a bit of a run. Daniel Tice gets up down. Robert Williams comes in. Instantly a block and 2 dunks. So it's just like a different kind of energy that he brings to the game. And I've been watching him do it since his college days. I watched March Madness a couple years back. He was on Texas Tech, and it was just swatting shots and throwing down lobs. That's what he did. But it like pumped up his team. It pumped up the crowd. Kind of demoralized whoever they were playing. So I think he's a key piece. He only got 14 minutes tonight. Stevens gave Daniel Tice 28.
Blows my mind. I don't get how that happens.
I think, Robert Williams is definitely deserves more time. I don't know why Brad Stevens isn't. It's genius. I don't know why he's not doing it, but I think, Robert Williams deserves more minutes for sure. And you know what? The Celtics look good. I still see the second round as their ceiling, but if they pick up a big guy, they could go to the conference finals, but I still can't see them beating the Sixers, regardless of who they pick up, unless it's someone really, really good. But at that point, you'd have to be giving up someone good to get a good big guy. Like
Fair. I mean, we still do have a couple picks, so we have that to leverage.
Yeah.
So I would say this. My prediction for the Celtics this year is at least the Eastern Conference Finals, as long as we aren't playing the Sixers in the conference semifinals. Which could happen, yeah. So as long as we don't play the Sixers up until the conference finals, I feel like conference finals is the minimum. The minimum, which means so you're very I think they can go to the NBA
about
finals
your chances beating the Bucks.
I think that I'm really not worried about the Bucks this year. All right, so yeah, Giannis is dominant, the most dominant player in the league. I have said it, I will say it, I stand by it. I think this year with the added chemistry of the Celtics, I think they can shut down the three-point shooters at the same time. Last year there was a lot of disconnect on defense. No one was really vocal. The team didn't really like each other. That's very different this year. You already see it. And on defense, we were talking about Marcus Smart earlier. So like Golden State Warriors, they have the Splash Brothers. Let me tell you, Boston has the Charge Brothers. Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart already are leading the NBA for most charges taken. We are great on defense, and that's going to go a long way. And especially if Robert Williams is in instead of Enes Kanter, no, Bucks don't have a chance in a 7-game series. No, not a chance.
What if you pull the worst card of all? Let's say you get the 3rd seed and you get to play the Raptors in the first round, 6th seed. They got more chemistry than y'all. And they're playoff tested. Can we say the same about Kemba yet?
So I don't see the Raptors beating the Celtics in a 7-game series. I'm sorry, man. I don't see it happening. I mean,
neither do I. No.
The core of the Celtics is still there.
I could see it happening, but I'm not like extremely confident in it happening.
Yeah.
But
Celtics,
I wouldn't be floored if we won. But I'm not. It's not my prediction.
I think the Celtics still have better chemistry. I mean, aside from Kemba and Kanter, that team is the same.
Yeah.
We took the locker room cancer out, and everything got better.
That's true.
That chemistry is still there. And you want to talk about playoff tested? These guys have been to the playoffs year after year.
But
Jason
they ain't been to the finals.
They
ain't been to the finals.
I don't know. Jason Tatum has been to the playoffs like twice.
Since he's come into the league.
But yeah,
He has not.
And then Marcus Smart, Kemba's been like once in his whole career.
Oh my God.
You could
Semi has been to the playoffs, but he doesn't really play.
Kyle Lowry been to the playoffs. How many years?
And it's Cantor, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum.
All these guys have been to the playoffs like once or twice.
Yeah,
The Raptors have the guys who've been plenty of
player.
times.
If y'all think the Raptors are beating the Celtics in a 7-game
Hey,
series,
he said it ourselves. Marcus
definitely
Gasol,
gonna-
he's been in the playoffs a lot longer than that. Kyle Lowry. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not
Stacey,
saying y'all
They
will
help
lose.
me
definitely
out,
gonna
Stacey.
give him a push. They're gonna give
Stacey,
I'm
him
not
help me out.
saying
gonna
y'all
give him a
will
push.
lose.
I think the wing talent of the Toronto, I mean not the Toronto Raptors, the Boston Celtics will prevail. If Jason Tatum get hot, I don't see nobody on the Raptors stopping him.
Who's stopping Siakam?
I think
I think Robert Williams would.
if we can stop Giannis, we can stop Siakam.
You can't stop Giannis. You already said that.
We contain him. We can contain him. We can contain him.
And I like Anobi. I like Anobi on Tatum.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think OG on Tatum.
I like
I'm
that.
not saying he'll stop him, but
Yeah, but then you still got Gordon Hayward. to
yeah,
deal
no,
with.
it's fair. I'm literally
Hey,
I'm not saying we would win. I'm saying we could win.
Yeah, y'all could, but
They got to punch a shot.
yeah, I'll say that.
I'm trying to remain calm here. All right, but real question. So I'm biased, so I'm not going to answer this. Well, I will at the end just to say what I think. How many All-Stars are coming off this team this year? We'll start with you, Mike.
Who? The Celtics?
Yeah.
All-Stars. Kimba should make it. Tatum, let me think who's in the East. You got Antetokounmpo, who's definitely going to make it over him. You got... Who else? Ben Simmons is going to be above him. I would say 2.
Who are the two?
Probably Kimba, Jason Tatum, long shot.
Okay. Stacey, what about you? How many All-Stars are coming off the Celtics?
2 max. Kemba definitely, and Tatum. I think he's a borderline All-Star this year.
Okay. Ben, what about you?
I completely agree. It's 2. My answer is a little bit different though. It's Kemba, and then one of Tatum or Hayward, depending on who gets more opportunity.
Okay.
Okay.
Gordon
Yeah,
Hayward.
I'm rolling with 3. I was going to say Kemba, Tatum, and Hayward. So I'm glad Ben said either Hayward or Tatum, so I didn't seem absurd. But yeah, I see Tatum, Hayward, Kemba. Brown, I feel like could change my mind. Maybe he'll take Hayward or maybe he'll take Tatum, but I doubt it. Just off of what I've seen in previous years. But no, I really like Hayward this year so far. I think Tatum's going to be a clear All-Star. Not a doubt in my mind. I'll bet someone if you guys want to put a bet down. We'll talk about that after, though. And then Kemba, of course. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of it for our teams. We kind of have the rest of the NBA to talk about still, too. So we'll try to keep it short, semi-short, as much as we can. But kind of just wanted to talk about the surprises that we've noticed so far. Like I said, we're only 4 or 5 games into the season, so we haven't seen a lot, but we've seen enough where we can start talking about things. Things that are a concern going forward or things that we should be scared about going forward. And to kind of start this off, we've talked about them before. Some people are saying they're not going to make the playoffs, and that surprised me when I first heard it. My mind's starting to change a little bit. So we got the Golden State Warriors. Starting the season 1-3. They're playing a game right now, too. They're playing the Phoenix Suns right now. Can we get a score update on that?
83-55.
Oh my God! Oh
Yeah.
8.5 to go in the third.
And that's to the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
So Golden State Warriors, is it are they done? Is the legacy over? Are they not making the playoffs this year? Obviously they have Clay out, so their whole team right now is kind of around D'Lo and Steph.
Who said?
No.
I was watching the CC Sports show. Who said the Warriors are like a 3 seed?
Yo, chill. Who said that?
Tasha said she think they're gonna be like 4 or 5.
We gotta get Tasha on here to talk about that. I need to hear that logic. Yikes, Tasha. All right. So we got Golden State starting 1-3. Kind of revolving around Steph and D'Lo, and you take those guys and you look at those two guys. Those are great players.
Yeah.
They've both kind of proven themselves. So this is kind of surprising to me. Obviously, it's still early in the season, but Stacey, we'll start with you this time. What's going on with the Warriors? What are they going to do this season?
I said that the championship window is closed for now, for this season. I don't think they're going to go to the finals. I had them as the 7th seed. I predicted they was going to get the 7th seed because they still have Steph. They still have Draymond Green. They got D'Angelo Russell. They got other players who are capable of stepping up. But for right now, I'm surprised they are losing games this bad. We just mentioned they losing badly against the Suns. They got obliterated by the Oklahoma City Thunder, who people said that they was going to drop off the face of the earth with all those young guys there, and they blasted them. I remember I was looking at the score, it was like 70-37. I'm like, oh my God.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that not they losing games, but just the way they are playing these games. It's like it's not competitive. And Steph, he definitely got to step up and take control of that team. I didn't see him as a strong leader. And this year, that's the only thing that he has to prove to me, that leadership to get his guys over the top, get them into the playoffs. And also, Steve Kerr he's kind of looking bad right now. I've seen things about people questioning whether he can actually coach. And right now they not looking good. And Steve Kerr does have to take some sort of blame for that. I mean, you're the coach. You won championships. Just because you don't have KD no more and Clay is out, don't mean this team should be looking this bad. For what it's worth, you still have 2 all-stars on your roster, and Russell and Draymond Green, so you can make something happen. But right now they looking terrible, and I'm surprised.
Yeah, so I mean, Steve Kerr has never really had to coach. He's always had a pretty dominant team.
Yeah.
This is kind of the first time where he's kind of being put to the test a little bit here. I've already been seeing on Twitter people saying fire Steve Kerr. I think it's a little premature for that.
Yeah, that's a little too deep. Yeah.
So obviously one of the key factors this year going forward for the Golden State Warriors is going to be two things kind of. Draymond Green's going to play a big part this year, and then if Klay Thompson returns. So I guess we're kind of going to have to see where that goes. Mike, what are your thoughts on the Warriors this year?
Like before I gave out my final prediction for the standings, I had them missing the playoffs. I mean, when you look at how deep the West is, and now that we've actually seen them playing on the court, this team doesn't really have a lot. So you have Steph Curry, you have D'Angelo Russell. That's great, but those are your only 2 scorers you really have. Draymond Green's not a scorer, as much as we said during the offseason when we recorded that, hey, he needs to be like an 18-point type of guy. He's not going to be that. So after Draymond Green, Damian Lee, Eric Paschall, Glenn Robinson, Amari Spellman, these aren't guys that's going to get it done in the Western Conference. Even within their own division, you got teams like the Suns who are better. You have the Lakers, you have the Clippers. So I'm surprised at how bad they're losing, like you said, but I'm not surprised to see them losing at all. I think it's going to be a tough year. Do I think they're done? Do I think their window is done? I don't. I think when Klay comes back healthier next offseason, when they make a move, because they'll probably move D'Lo or move somebody, they're going to get someone to help this team out. Then they'll be right back in the thick of things. But I think for this year, it's just a down year and shoot. I might shut Steph down about 50 games in, especially if their record's nowhere near looking good enough to do it. There's no point. Klay's not coming back. No one's expecting this team to go far.
So one thing you brought up about, obviously this isn't their year and, they can kind of rebuild for next year. Is Golden State still a free agent destination?
Easily. I don't see why not. I mean, you see how much their culture has changed there. And who wouldn't want to play with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson? I mean, those guys are going to get you open shots. You're going to get open shots. The floor is going to be so spread. I think Golden State is definitely still a free agency destination.
Okay. Fair. Ben, what are your thoughts on the Warriors this year?
First things first, I think people need to relax a little bit because in my eyes, Stephen Curry, this is just a slump. The greatest, or let's say a top 2 3-point shooter of all time.
Who do you have above Curry? I gotta hear that.
He's in my top 3 in no particular order with Ray Allen and Reggie Miller.
He's the best.
I just wanted to hear. I wasn't.
Yeah. But he's not going to be shooting 26.7% from 3 for long. He's the primary option now. At some point, he's going to stop messing around and he's going to turn it up, and teams are going to be screwed. They're going to be screwed. So I don't think the Warriors are a serious threat this year, but I think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think Steve Kerr is going to get fired. They're not going to do anything serious. But once Steph Curry turns it up and takes some pressure off of D'Lo too, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. They're going to stop losing by 30 to the Phoenix Suns and the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I mean, Steph Curry is not even having that bad of a season. I mean, if you look at his stats from this
26.7% from 3, though. That's the thing. Like, his numbers are okay.
Yeah,
but
shooting is poor.
Yeah.
But if you look at his this year's stats versus his career stats, his career stat line is 23.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 6.6 assists.
Mm-hmm.
He's above all of those right now. On the career, it's only accounting for the first 3 games, so it must have not updated yet. 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 6.7 assists.
Yeah.
So it's still not a bad year, but he just doesn't have the supporting cast he used to.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously those stats, if they want any kind of chance, are going to have to go way up. And D'Lo is going to have to contribute. And, as we mentioned, with Mike saying that Draymond needs to contribute a lot more, especially scoring-wise.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are the Warriors making the playoffs this year? And I think, Stacey, you said they would?
Yeah, I had them at 7 for now.
Okay. Mike, what did you say?
No, they're not going to make it.
Not making it? Okay, Ben, what are your thoughts on that?
They're going to be a low seed, like a 7-8.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say 7-8. Mike, I'm curious who you have above them in the 7th and 8th seed.
The Mavericks, I would have above them. I'll take Luka and Porzingis over Steph and D'Lo. Let me go on my Zoom. Lakers, Clippers, Rockets, Blazers, Jazz, Mavericks, Spurs, and I'm missing one, Nuggets.
I must be sleeping on the Spurs this year because I don't see it. I say that every year, though.
Yeah.
I say that every year. So
they beat the Blazers the other night.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't get what they have. I really don't. I say every year. I'm like,
and the best culture in the league.
Greg Popovich.
Yeah, I know. That's literally it.
That's a stock you buy into.
The Spurs are just winners. It's just their culture, regardless of.
Yeah, and in all honesty, they got DeJounte Murray back. They still have DeRozan and Aldridge, so you know what they're giving you every night. They have Rudy Gay. I mean, they picked up DeMari Carroll. I mean, they got a solid roster, and with Pop, you give him just an average roster, he could squeeze out 40 to 45. So give him a good roster, 45 to 50.
So let me ask you this. So right now, who's one of the worst? The worst team's the Kings, Sacramento Kings. They're 0-4 right now. Mm-hmm. If you take the roster of the Sacramento Kings and you just do a straight up trade, so everyone on the Sacramento Kings goes to San Antonio, are you saying that they would be a playoff team?
Yes.
Yes, they were almost a playoff team last year.
This is why I'm so shocked with them. We're
gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to that. We got a while to go, but
okay, yeah, I will hold my tongue until then.
Okay, all right. So you said Golden State Warriors aren't gonna make it.
No,
we already went around. Okay, so I don't know. I still think I'm gonna give them 7 and 8 seed. I said it in the summer podcast when we did the all-time teams tournament. I'm never gonna sleep on the Warriors ever again. So I'm still not gonna sleep on them now. I'm gonna stand by that. See how it goes this season. They could make a couple trades. I don't really know if they have any real assets to trade.
No.
Unless if they want to trade D'Lo, but I don't see that happening this year.
If their roster stays the way it is, no way.
No way for making the playoffs at all.
If their roster stays the way it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. I guess we'll see how that goes. Another interesting storyline to kind of have to talk about a little bit, not too much though. Markelle Fultz. He's kind of been in and out. He got drafted first overall in the year with Jason Tatum and Lonzo Ball. Obviously, drafted by Philly after the Celtics trade. Kind of just disappeared, got hurt a little bit, had a busted shot. This year he's in Orlando with the Magic. He's putting on a little bit of a show. His stat line doesn't really say everything, but if you've seen any games, seen some clips of him, he's dunking it. He's hitting some shots. He's looking pretty good, which is good to see. Obviously, you never want to see a guy like that get drafted that high and just kind of end up like nothing. Kind of like Michael Carter Williams, kind of just fell off the face of the earth. It's sad to see. I mean, a guy that had so much hype on him and it's kind of just like a letdown like that. So happy for Markelle Fultz. Right now in the season, he's averaging 12.3 points on 47% shooting with 4.7 assists and 1.7 rebounds per game. I personally haven't watched any full games. It's just been clips and highlights I've seen. I don't know if any of you guys have seen any full games with Fultz.
Nah, not really.
No.
Highlights.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me too.
Yeah.
But from the highlights I've seen, he's looking pretty good. This could be a little comeback year for him. I just kind of want to go around real quick and see your thoughts on Fultz. If he has a future in the league or if he's kind of a Michael Carter Williams and he's kind of done. So, Mike, we'll start with you.
Good start on his quote-unquote comeback. I mean, he's got a ways to go. He's on a team that will probably be in the playoffs. So I'm sure he'll learn a lot if he already didn't from the Sixers. So, I mean, will he ever get to the status that, live up to that being that number one pick? I don't think so personally, but it's also very early. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm glad he's got a fresh start somewhere else.
Ben, what about you?
Yeah, just like Mike said, I'm glad he's getting an opportunity. He didn't really have a whole lot of that in Philadelphia. He was the first pick. People are already calling him a bust. And on Twitter, I've told people, give him at least this season. Give him a full season to show you what he can do. And obviously he's not doing great right now, but he's doing okay. And I'm sure things will only get better from here as he continues to grow and learn. So yeah, no, like Mike said, I'm glad he has this opportunity to have a fresh start.
Stacey, what about you? Where do you see Fultz going this year?
Well, first, I'm glad that he's having a good start to the season. It's definitely a great feel-good story for the NBA, for Markelle Fultz in particular, because he went through it. He went through it in Philadelphia, and he got a fresh start, and he got a fresh outlook, and he's looking good. I didn't expect him to be like that, a dominant player right now, but because on that team you still got Vucevic on that team. I think Jonathan Isaac is looking good. Aaron Gordon, solid player. So he's down in the pecking order, but for right now, for what it's worth, his stats: 12 points on 47% shooting. That's pretty good. I expect his assists to increase, but as long as he's out there, as long as he making plays, getting his minutes, he's definitely going to increase. Now, I agree with Mike. I don't think he's ever going to live up to that, being that first overall pick. I don't think he's going to live up to that expectation, but I think he's going to be solid going forward. So hopefully he can get in the running for a comeback player of the year, because that'll be a nice icing on the cake for him.
Yeah, so I would agree that he's definitely not going to live up to the potential of that first overall pick. I think that's already long gone and out the window. I do think that this year is kind of a proving year for him. I think he could find his way into a nice rotation player, 6-man type deal, if he doesn't end up staying with Orlando. I don't really think he's a starting caliber yet. I don't think he's there yet. Maybe on a lower tier team, but that would just be out of desperation. I really don't think he's up there yet. I don't see it. I don't see Orlando having too much of a future this year either. I don't see them making the playoffs. So Fultz this year should really just take his time, practice, try to become a better player, and I don't know, find a way to make a team next year. Because really for him, it's going to be a year-by-year basis. His rookie contract has to be coming up, this year or next year, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So now is the time to start making that money. Now's his time to start showing people that he can contribute to an NBA team on an NBA level. If he can't, he'll be out of the league pretty quickly. And we see that happen a lot. Guys end up going overseas. Just doesn't work out for them in the league. So obviously
Anthony Bennett.
Exactly. Eventually he's made it back. He's in the G League now.
Yeah. Well, he had a contract with the Rockets, but they cut him like one day before the season started.
Yeah. So I mean, NBA is a business at the end of the day, and if you can't cut it, they're not going to give you any sympathy. It doesn't matter if you were first overall. We saw that with Anthony Bennett, just like you were saying, Ben. But next up, I wanted to talk about the Atlanta Hawks. Starting off 2-2, nothing too surprising there. But one thing that has surprised me, to say the least, is Trae Young's performance. Trae Young is cooking. 26.8 points, 7.3 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. That is extremely impressive. He's a sophomore. He was runner-up to Rookie of the Year last year, following to Luka Doncic. If he was performing, he kind of picked it up his rookie year, like halfway through the season. If he was playing like that all year, things could have been different for Rookie of the Year. But fell to Luka. Luka was just more consistent that year. So I kind of wanted to go around, hear your thoughts on the Hawks. They do have a pretty good team, in my opinion at least. Trae Young obviously did just go out with an ankle injury, so we're going to have to see with that. X-rays did come back negative, but they were going to run some MRIs. So Stacey, we'll start with you. Where you kind of see the Hawks going this year and Trae Young kind of go off that a little bit.
I expected the Hawks to be the surprise team in the NBA because Trae Young, he's definitely like almost ready to take over the league. I say he was going to be the next Steph Curry, and he's proven that he's hitting shots from the bottom of the logo, which is things that Steph can do. John Collins playing well. I'm still looking for Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter to contribute a little more, but I think they can push for the playoffs. I don't think they're going to get in just because how young they are. They're still trying to build. I think next year definitely they're going to be a playoff team, but this year I think they're going to do some work this year. I think Trae Young he can carry this team to newer heights. But I hate that he just got injured. I hate that. I hate when that happens, when a player, especially a young player, talented, playing real good, team expect to take off, then you get injured. Like me personally, I just hate that. But long as everything just, the X-rays came back negative and everything just like a little hiccup, they'll be fine.
Ben, what about you?
Well, yeah, for sure. Trae Young's been great to start. It sucks that he got hurt. But he does have people with him who can help pick up the load. We've got Kevin Huerter, who I was pretty excited about to start the season. He hasn't been doing much though. Something like 6 points per game. DeAndre Hunter, just about 10 points per game as a rookie. It's not bad. John Collins has been for sure that second option of everyone. 18.2 points on 56% shooting.
Fantasy.
Actually, yeah, 50% from deep. He took 8 threes against the Heat last night.
That's crazy.
And then 9.2 rebounds, 2 blocks. And then they've got Jabari Parker this year too. Like I said this in, I think the last, if not the second last episode that we did. The Hawks are the best young team in the league. They have the brightest future. Just in terms of the guys that they have on their roster. They have a bunch of young guys who have a lot of potential. Like you said, Cam Reddish, haven't seen much from him yet, but there's still a lot of time, and he has all the raw potential that he needs to succeed in the league. So I'm excited about the Hawks this year. They could be a sleeper playoff, like a low seed. They are in the East after all. But if not, 2-3 years down the road, they'll be a playoff contender for sure.
Mike, where do you see the Hawks going this year?
I don't see them making the playoffs. They're a good, like you guys have already said, pretty much. They're a young team. They're up and coming. I think potential is the best word when you think about the Hawks. That's what they have, but they're still a young team. They're still learning how to win, really, in the NBA. So I don't see them making the playoffs. I think they'll be in the lottery again. But, I mean, I like Trae Young. He's a great player. He's one of the most exciting players. I wish him a speedy recovery. But outside of Trae Young, I just don't see where you're going to get that consistent scoring as of right now for them to really compete in the league right now. They have a lot of guys who contribute one night and then another night can give you nothing. So They won't make the playoffs. They'll be an exciting young team. They'll challenge some of the heavy hitters in the East and the West and make some games competitive. But I ultimately have them missing the playoffs.
All right, so I'm kind of upset that all you guys said missing the playoffs because now I'm going to seem real stupid. But I have them around 6 or 7 in the East.
Okay.
I'm really high on John Collins. I think Cam Reddish could blow up a little bit. Kevin Huerter is a guy that once he picks it up, he's a great offensive threat. Trae Young, outstanding. Obviously, the numbers he's putting up and, how we kept seeing him improve at the end of last season. If Trae Young's healthy, they're 6 or 7. They could make it a little bit of a run, I think. Maybe get through the first round.
Ooh.
I'm really high on John Collins and Trae Young. I'm really high on John Collins. I've liked him since he's come into the league.
Hey, more power to you, dog. I don't see it.
It's not fair. I mean, I get that, but I don't know. I see them. I could see them 6 or 7. I could see them getting through the first round too. Depending on the matchup.
Yeah, I was about to say, what if they let's say they get the 6th seed? What if they play the Boston Celtics?
Oh, they're getting spanked in 4. You already know.
Well, if you got them losing to y'all, they ain't losing to the Bucks or the Sixers. That 6 or 7 seed is gonna be murder.
I like the Hawks. I like the Hawks.
They're good. I like them.
Yeah, and what you guys were saying, like they're the best team set for the future. One of you guys are saying that. I don't remember who said that. I think it was Ben. Yeah, they're absolutely young and loaded with potential. So they're definitely an exciting team to keep watch. It's scary. But moving on to the not so good of the NBA, we got the Kings and the Pelicans both starting the season 0-4. Both were very surprising to me, not gonna lie. I had the Kings sneaking into the playoffs at 8. I had the Pelicans. So I had the Kings and the Pelicans as an option to sneak in at 8. Mm-hmm. Starting off 0-4 is not making me look too good right here. Maybe I should just stop predicting things. It never works out for me. Never
they're 0-5 now.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Ooh.
If it makes you feel any better,
that's embarrassing.
I thought the same thing. I thought they was gonna fight for that AC too.
Me too. The Kings, disappointing me.
The Kings, they have a good team. Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, Bagley obviously is out now, 4 to 6 weeks I think. And then the Pelicans, I was so high on them even without Zion.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know, but I guess they're just the busted Lakers.
Hey man, New Orleans Lakers.
But
that's
I mean,
I
will say that they got to figure out how to play in the game. They got to play the game within the game. They got to figure out how to close games. They're a young squad. They're a young squad, and they're young, tough, competitive Western Conference. So it's gonna be a grind.
Yeah,
I think the problem with the Pelicans, and it's kind of what you said, Stacey, is a lot of those guys are trying to make a name for themselves. A lot of those guys want to be standout players. Yeah. That's going to cause chemistry issues. A lot of those guys are going to want to be the number one guy. You got Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. There's definitely going to be some push in there. Everyone's going to want to be that star player on the team, and not everyone can be that it guy,
Well, I don't think anyone's touching Brandon Ingram so far.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram's clear in the league.
I'll solve the problem for
points per game, 50% shooting, 50% from deep, almost 10 boards.
Killing it.
Yeah, I'll solve it for him. Let Brandon Ingram be the guy. That's it. Let him be the guy.
As long as he stays healthy, he's their person. He's their player.
What about when Zion comes back?
He's not
still.
He'll be there.
Still Ingram?
Second. He'll be there.
Still.
Okay.
And I think at this point, Drew Holiday is mature enough to sit back and let those guys do what they do. And
I would agree, Drew Holiday. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, another kind of team that's been surprising me is the Mavericks. Last I checked, they're 3-1. I don't think they played tonight, so nothing should have changed, right?
Right, I don't think they played now.
Yeah, so they're 3-1. We had the pairing of Luka and Porzingis, the Euro gods in the NBA. Kind of surprising me that they're starting off this hot. Summer League did not look too good, not going to lie. Playing together, it looked like they had a lot of kinks to work out. But the second when it counted, they worked it out. It was like magic. Luka Doncic is one of the best young players in the league.
Yeah. Fantasy.
Yeah. I'm jealous of that, by the way. I want him. So I kind of want to go around and see what your thoughts are on the Mavericks. We'll start with you this time, Ben.
I expected the Mavericks to be good this year. I knew as soon as because KP obviously he's coming off an ACL tear, which is it's a hard to predict injury on how they'll recover from that. You saw Gordon Hayward in Boston last year was not his Utah self, and that wasn't an ACL tear. I guess that was a leg break or whatever. But just scary injuries like that, they don't always come back 100%. But he took more time, I think, than he fully needed. He could have come back at some point last season.
Yeah, he didn't rush into it.
Yeah, which is good. Which is why I want Clay to sit out this full season. And KD, not that he tore his ACL, but so KP so far standout game was against the Trailblazers, which is a good Western Conference rival for them. And he had 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists to go with 2 blocks. He's 7'3". He can do it all. Did his height change in the height change list actually?
If it did, it would have been by like an inch.
Yeah. Regardless, he's at least 7'2".
Right.
He's still young. He's 24, and he can do it all. He can shoot. He can drive. He can post up, body down, mid range. Right now, he's averaging 22 points and 8 rebounds, 2.5 blocks per game. Against the Pelicans, he had 5 blocks, which is a little bit ridiculous. And then obviously Luka, like you said, the European gods. They're doing it. They're doing it for their team. That's to watch. I don't have any high hopes for the Mavs, but they'll make the playoffs for sure this year, which is going to be the first time in a long time that's happened.
First time without Dirk in forever.
Yeah.
Stacey, what about you? What's your ceiling for the Mavs?
I thought the Mavs was going to be improved overall just because they got a seemingly healthy Porzingis in that lineup. And Luka, I expect him to, keep growing on his game. But I said that they won't make the playoffs just because outside of those two, I don't buy into this team. Like, I have their stats right here. Luka is averaging north of 20. Porzingis averaging north of 20. The next player is averaging 11.3. And then you get into the 9s and the 8s. That's not going to get it done in the Western Conference. In the Western Conference, you definitely going to need 3 guys who can get north of 15 in any given night. So they've fallen short in that category. They definitely going to need to build around these two in order to break into the playoffs. So right now, I got them out of the playoffs.
All right, Mike, what about you?
I like the Mavericks. I wasn't too high on them. Once I found out that Clay was out for the year, that kind of certified me putting them into the 8th spot over Golden State. I like the tandem with Luka and Porzingis. Luka's great. He's still that same player we saw from last year. He can still dance on you. He can still score on you. He can still dish the ball. And Porzingis is getting back to his normal self. And, people may forget because he was on the Knicks and they was trash, but Porzingis is a borderline, what would we say, top 10 player at his prime? I mean, in his max potential, he's fully out there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, obviously. So I think they have something there. As far as their ceiling, AFC, I feel like they'll lose to whoever's the number 1 seed in the NBA. I don't think they'll win a playoff series, but I think they'll be a tough out. You have Rick Carlisle, who's been to a finals before, won an NBA championship, so he knows how to get this team ready. And I agree with you, Stacey. My one question about them was outside of Porzingis and Doncic, who's going to be the guy? Is it going to be Tim Hardaway Jr. or is it going to be Seth Curry? They have a lot of questions outside of that. So that's what I think is ultimately going to hold them back. But with all the injuries to Golden State, I think they'll slip in at 8.
Yeah, so I would definitely agree. I wouldn't be surprised if they were to sneak into the playoffs at that 8 seed. But with that said, I have a lot of red flags going up and a lot of question marks. One of my biggest concerns is they really don't have a good playmaking point guard. They don't have a guy that's going to be a leader. What'd you say?
Luka can do that.
But he doesn't. That's the thing. Like, if Luka was doing it, fine, I'd feel a lot better about it. But they don't, and that's what's kind of scary about it. And, outside of Porzingis, they don't really have much height. They have Boban, but he's not getting any minutes, which is one thing that's been surprising me so far, is the lack of minutes that they did give him. It kind of makes me wonder why they signed him. But you look at the other guys on the roster, and it's like, if you were like just a casual NBA fan, you'd have no idea who these people were. Zero idea.
I wouldn't say that.
But
You're telling me a casual NBA fan would know
Tim
who Maxi
Hardaway
Kleber
Jr.
is?
Not Kleber, but Seth Curry, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jalen Brunson.
Those guys,
oh, well, you said casual, so okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Casual fans.
Casual,
Like,
okay.
like a lot of these guys, no one's gonna know who they are, and that's concerning. You know, if Kristaps or Luka, if either one of them get injured, they're done. If any one of those two goes out for like 10, 15 games, they're done. And that's scary with Porzingis.
That's the thing. Yeah, he's so skinny and tall.
And he's coming off of an injury.
Yeah.
So the chance of re-injury is pretty high.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's in his benefit that he sat out longer than he needed to, and he didn't play last season. But if one of those guys goes down, I don't think they're even going to get that 8 seed. Definitely something to think about, though. I would not, like I said, I would not be surprised if they did make the 8 seed. But just a lot of red flags and question marks. One of the better surprises of the NBA has to be the Phoenix Suns. They've kind of been that trash team in the NBA where if anyone asked who's the worst team in the NBA, it was instantly the Phoenix Suns. You know, I one of my college roommates was a Phoenix Suns fan, and I felt so bad for him. But like in my head, I would always tell him, I'd be like, "Man, you have like a good team. I just don't get how they lose." You know, they got DeAndre Ayton, they had Devin Booker. When they traded for Kelly Oubre Jr. I never really thought that they were that bad of a team. I just never really understood how they kept losing. You know, this season they're starting off 2-2. They're about to be 3-2 because they're blowing out the Warriors right now. They already beat the Clippers with Kawhi playing.
Yeah.
They're a threat this year, guys. Am I saying they're going to win the NBA championship? No. They could do a little damage in the playoffs, I think, though.
I don't know about damage. I think they can make the playoffs.
You don't think they would get through the first round?
No.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
Even with 8.
First off, let's slow down. Let's slow way down.
Also, you're saying even with Ayton back, who knows how Ayton's going to be when he's off the PEDs?
Yeah, how long has he been on them for? So the thing was, he didn't get caught with PEDs. He got caught with it was like
diuretics.
It was like diuretics, which like covers the use of anything like that. So like if he did take a test, it wouldn't show positive for PEDs. So like we have no idea what he took.
He's smoking weed.
That's literally what he could have been doing.
He's probably smoking weed. Yeah.
He could have been doing anything, and that's why diuretics are not allowed in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Phoenix, Mike?
Oh, they've been very impressive. They've played close games. Like you said, they beat the Clippers. I think they gave them their first loss. And right now I'm looking at them whooping the Warriors 97-78. And I think they lost to the Jazz by only a bucket. So they're very competitive. They're not like an all-young team anymore. I was telling you guys earlier before we got on, they brought in some veterans. You got Ricky Rubio in there. You got Aaron Baines, Frank Kaminsky. Kelly Oubre's averaging 20 points a game, so that's something to look at. I mean, they brought in some veterans. They're going to win games. They play good, and like you were saying earlier, Ben, they have a great coach now, Monty Williams, one of the most sought-out coaches during the offseason. So they're going to be a tough out. I'm not ready to put them in the playoffs yet. I still think I could probably name about 10, probably 9 teams better than them for sure. But I think they'll be a tough team this year, and they'll be much improved.
Yeah, that's something that's interesting about the NBA this year. There's a lot more parity, I feel like. I feel like the 7th and 8th seeds are wide open in the West right now.
It's great, though. I love the league right now. It's something to watch, like, every night.
For sure. It's like
imagine
we know that,
watching a Suns Clippers game and not knowing what the outcome is going to be.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, the Jazz just beat the Clippers. Like, that was probably pretty unexpected. Stacey, what are your thoughts on the Suns this year?
This is what the Suns need. They needed veteran leadership in their locker room. For years, they had like a bunch of young guys and not no strong leadership from the coach. They changed coaches like 5 times the last 5 years before Monty Williams. So they had no consistency. But now they got Monty Williams. They brought in veteran players that Mike mentioned. They gonna improve. I believe last year they only won 19 games. I expect this year for them to leap into 30. Are they gonna make to the playoffs? I don't think so, because I have my question for him defensively. Like, Ricky Rubio ain't guarding nobody. Like, he's not guarding anybody. Devin Booker, he has to step it up on that end. And DeAndre Ayton, missing 25 games is a lot. It's a lot, and who knows how he's going to be when he comes back. And he was playing well too before he.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
killing my fantasy team, man.
yeah. He's a walking 16, 18, 10 rebounds. So they definitely.
I have to cut you off real quick. Golden State Warriors definitely aren't making the playoffs. Steph Curry just broke his hand.
Oh, is that on the report?
Wow.
Steph Curry just broke his left hand.
That's insane.
Yep.
That's so unfortunate.
Straight from Shams. Steph has broken his left hand.
That sucks. That's really sad.
That's horrible. Not only for Steph Curry, but that whole franchise.
I just saw it on House of Highlights.
I haven't seen the video yet.
He's never gonna be out. Like
Aaron Baines fell on him.
Aaron Baines is a big dude.
Aaron Baines is a big dude.
Yo, you gotta send me that link.
Yeah, I can send it.
That is not good at all. Wow.
That's
at this point, the Warriors are done.
Yeah,
blow it up.
They're pretty much done.
Right now. Hey, what did I say? His hand will heal. Sit him down. Hey, look, he's done for the year.
Yeah.
There's no point. There's no point. Especially a guy who's had injuries before already. Sit him down.
And at this point, when they're a team that you're questioning if they're even going to make the playoffs, don't risk your franchise star for that.
Yeah, no.
It's not worth it.
Wow. That's
crazy. But as we were saying,
little comeback update for the Warriors, though.
Yeah.
They're down 16 now, and Eric Pascal has 18 points.
Yeah, people watching the Warriors are gonna learn a lot of new names now.
Right.
Positive of that.
Definitely.
But as we were saying, where were we with Phoenix? Was it Stacey? Was it you?
Yeah, I was wrapping it up. I think they're not gonna make the playoffs, but they're definitely gonna be improved from 19 games because you have no choice. So,
Ben, what about you? Do you think the Suns will make the playoffs?
I think it'll be tough. I think they're going to be the Kings last year fought for a playoff spot. They ended up 9 or 10. I think it's going to be one of those for the Suns. I think I can see them in the 8 to 10 range if they can keep this up and stay healthy and all that. One thing I want to mention, we talked about Aaron Baines, how he broke Steph's hand, but he also has 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists in 23 minutes of play tonight.
Aaron Baines is a good player, boys. Let me tell you that right now.
Boston Glory.
He is like such a good role player. Like when we had him in, he grabbed boards, dude.
Yeah.
I love Baines. When we lost him, it was a huge upset.
Yeah. No. Well, whenever we're in the same division as you guys, the Raptors and the Celtics, so we would play each other a lot. Whenever the Raptors played the Celtics and Aaron Baines came on, it was like a different kind of fear than Al Horford because he's really strong. He can do a lot. Obviously, he wasn't doing in Boston what he's doing in Phoenix right now, 19, 12, and 7. But he affects the game in a different way. Just whenever he comes on, you know that he's going to do what he has to do and then get off the court. He's very set in his role.
Nickname all of Australia for a reason. He is a big dude.
Yeah.
He'd break anyone's hand falling on him. I feel bad for Curry.
Yeah, that's.
Oh man.
That's just unfortunate. I don't know. I could see the Suns sneaking in 8. I have like 4 teams that could possibly make the playoffs. And isn't that what it came down to last year? There were like a couple borderline teams on that 8 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the Kings.
Kings and someone else, I forget who.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the same this year with a couple teams. Just kind of trying to battle it out. So, I mean, for the better teams, it really doesn't matter about seeding. But when you're borderline like that, every game counts.
Yeah.
Lakers doesn't really matter for them this year.
The last 2 games of the season for the Kings last year.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a grind for them. They can't afford load management. They're not going to sit Booker if they don't have to. They need to win every single game. So that's going to kind of do it for this episode. I apologize for it being a little bit long. We had a lot to talk about because we missed a couple weeks. Was it only 1 week, 2 weeks? I don't know. But we'll be back next week, probably around Tuesday or Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. Thank you to Mike, Stacey, and Ben. And we will see you guys next week.